clean image sensor. That cleans your sensor by using the vibration in the filter in front of the sensor to clean the dust off. It won't always completely clean. You might need to do a wet clean as well sometime. I've done a video on that if you want to have a look. It shows you how to do that. Mirror lockup, that's when you need to clean the sensor. It flips the mirror up in the camera and locks it there to expose the sensor. Video mode, you've got PAL or NTSC, depends what country you live in. HDMI, you can choose the output resolution when you connect to your TV, and you can choose whether you can control the device. Flicker reduction, again that depends what country you're in. Time zone and date, again depends what country you're in. Language, same. Image comment, now what this does is you can attach text to your images into the metadata files. It's kind of like hidden information in a JPEG file, and you can actually attach comments. As you can see, you can just type using the buttons there. You could put maybe your name, or you could attach the location of where you took the shot, things like that. Basically just information you can include in the image file. Auto image rotation, again when you take landscape or portrait images. Auto image rotation, again when you take landscape or portrait images, it will rotate the image to suit the orientation of the camera at the time. Dust off ref photo, this is another way, instead of cleaning your sensor, you can actually use this. What it does is it takes a blank frame, you have to shoot against a bright white wall or something similar to that, and the camera sees where all the dust spots are. And then using Nikon's own software, I think it's View NX or whatever it's called, you can actually attach that dust off file, and it sort of covers up all of the dust spots. It's quite a hassle and quite a faff to do it, but it works quite well. Auto off timer, this is when the camera goes into standby. How long it takes, short, normal or long. Self timer delay, that's when you use the self timer for self portraits. You can have 2 or 10 seconds. 10 seconds is probably better to give you time to get out of the way or whatever you're doing. Beep, that turns off the beep when you focus. It's up to you whether you leave that on or off. Most people will tell you to turn it off, but just do whatever you want with that one. Rangefinder, now this is the really useful function. If you look through your viewfinder and focus on something, you'll see down in the bottom left hand side there's a little green dot that flashes. When this green dot is on solidly, that means the subject is in focus. That's what that is. File number sequence, this is when you take the photos. If you leave it in sequence, each photo take will have a different number. Even if you change SD cards, it will always continue that sequence. And buttons we've talked about in some of my other videos. You can change the function button like I've showed to ISO sensitivity, or you can change it to any of those 4 options there. You can change the AE, LAFL button, and you can change the AE lock to be on or off. That's the auto exposure. Basically, when the camera meters the scene and chooses exposure, you can lock it, recompose your shot, take the picture, and the camera won't meter off whatever you've moved your camera towards. Slot empty release lock. Now this is probably one of the most useful functions the camera has actually. What this does is, if you have it release locked, if you don't have a card in the card slot, the camera will not take pictures. If you leave it on enable release, the camera will take pictures and you won't know that there's no card in the slot. If you're anything like me and forget to put memory cards in the slot, leave this on release locked. The amount of times I've gone out on a shoot, then realised that I haven't got a memory card with me. Thankfully I've always had it on lock, so I've realised before I've actually started shooting. Otherwise I could shoot a whole sort of scene and then realise I've not actually taken any pictures. Date imprint, that imprints the date and the time on your photographs. I've never used that, it looks a bit tacky and there's no way of getting rid of it once you've taking the photo, so I'd leave that off. Storage folder is the folder that the SD card creates when you take the pictures. You can select whichever folder you want that's already on the card, or you can make a new one. GPS, you need the extra GPS external thing that Nikon sells, and the firmware version will tell you the current firmware of the camera. Occasionally they release updates to change sort of bugs in the software and things like that. And then we're back to the beginning. So the next one is the retouch menu. This is something fairly new in the more modern DSLRs. You have all these different settings to actually edit your photos inside the camera. The first one is delighting. What this does is very similar to the thing we spoke about earlier, the to turn the delighting on or off. Basically just brings out the shadows and sort of tones down the highlights again. Only on this you can actually do it after you've taken the picture, and you can save a new photo with the new settings. It's quite handy, but can't say I use it a great deal. Red eye correction, obviously when you take pictures of people with flash, it usually gives them red eye. So you can actually edit that out inside the camera without connecting to a computer. Trim will trim down your photo. Again, you just select the photo and then you can change the area that you want trimmed just by moving the cursors and using the other little icons down there. Monochrome obviously makes the image black and white. Filter effects, you've got all these different filters. These ones don't do a great deal on colour photos, they're probably better suited to black and whites, but they sort of have a small impact. Colour balance, it's a little bit like white balance, changing the white balance after the fact. Small picture, that basically allows you to create thumbnails or smaller photos from your big photo and save them as a separate file. That's actually pretty handy if you want to sort of upload photos to Facebook or something and you're not at a computer. Image overlay, again you sort of take a picture, then you take another picture and it overlays it on top. It's kind of an old technique from the film days where you'd sort of double expose your film. This is if you shoot RAW. I don't have any RAW images on the card at the moment, so I can't show you that, but basically that will go into the RAW retouching menu, and you can change sort of sharpening, contrast, saturation, white balance, all the usual sort of things on there. Quick retouch is like an automatic retouch. It will sort of add different contrasts and things to your photos. So you can scroll through them. Again, just play around with these and see what difference it makes. It will sort of be different with different types of photo. Oops, sorry. Straighten, obviously straightens images, straightens the horizons on wonky landscapes. Distortion control we talked about earlier. Again, you can actually do it after you've taken the picture. Fisheye is just a really cheesy fisheye kind of thing. You can change the effect of it. It's not very good, to be honest, but I suppose it's a little bit of fun. Colour outline, again, is sort of a cartoony filter. Sort of turns it into a sketch. Again, these are all just kind of toy things, if you like, just to play around with, just for a bit of fun and not serious editing tools. Perspective control is really good if you're taking a picture of a building. It looks like it's sort of leaning away from you. You can sort of bring it back. It's sort of the effect of perspective. And miniature effect, these photos won't show it, but it's a bit like a tilt and shift lens. You've probably seen lots of photos like this where it makes sort of towns and people look like little toy people. And that's edit movie. I don't have any movies on here, so I can't show you that. But yeah, these are they're just sort of little fun things you can do in the camera just to touch your images up and sort of add wacky effects to them. And then this is your recent settings. This is all the settings that we've used recently. Obviously it's got the ones that I just went in to show you. And this is really handy when you sort of start going into your camera and changing settings more often. If you don't want to, if you've done something and you can't remember where you found it, but you know you did it recently, you can come in here and you can find the setting that you changed and then change it back again. It's kind of like a sort of a favourites menu almost. If you use the same things over and over again, it will come up in there. And at all times, if there's something on here that you don't know what it does or anything, if you click the little question mark button, and it will bring up a nice little thing and tell you exactly what it does. You can come onto any of them. And there's a little help menu for each one, which is really helpful. So yeah, that's all the different menus. There's a couple of things on here, like I said, I can actually make whole videos on them, but I don't want to go into too much detail. I'll try and do some more videos on some of the things like RAW and the white balance and the colour space, Adobe RGB and sRGB. But that'll do for this video. I hope that was helpful. If you've got any videos that you want me to make, then just leave a comment and I'll try and make them for you. And yeah, I'll do some more videos soon for you all. Thanks very much.